Hello, everyone. This is Business 700 Leadership and Creative Solution Implementation, CLA 1 by Yash Vyas. Analysis based on the interview of Mr. Hemant Dasture, who is a chartered accountant and a consultant with more than 20 years of experience. Experience with resistance to change. Resistance to change can have two kinds of symptoms. It can be active as well as a passive one. Active ones are when people go out of their way to suggest what their resistance to the change is. Passive is when somebody agrees with what the change needs to be, but while implementing it, does not go through with it. He himself has resisted change when it comes to income tax filings going online instead of the legacy system of doing it on paper. Being the change manager is always a challenging task. He likes to use the Kurt Lewin's three-stage model, which is unfreezing the problem first, helping employees to let go of their own old ways. Then moving stage, which encourages employees to acquire attitudes to support the new direction. Followed by the refreezing, which is reinforcing and locking down their new behaviors through rewards and recognitions. Some of the most common reasons for resisting the change can be feelings of uncertainty. The feeling that the future is unclear is enough to create stress for people because it leads to a sense of loss of control. The perceived loss of power, where people in command never want to give up their positions, and the fear of failure. People who feel that they can perform better even in the new system are less resistant, while those who are afraid they will lose their efficiency and will resist change. The most difficult reason for resistance to change to deal with as a manager can be the prevalence of change. If a company has a history of making short lived changes or lack of history of successful changes, there will be a resistance amongst the employees. Second is the personality type. People with positive and optimistic personalities think of changes as an opportunity, whereas risk averse people are always hesitant of change in technology or the structure. Third is the personal impact of the change. People react negatively to impacts of change, such as smaller office space or a more commute time, etc. Management's resistance to the change is always a bigger problem than just the employees resisting the change. Back in 2006 and 2007, during the merger of Indian Airlines and Air India was announced, Mr. Dasture was a part of the team of consultants on the project. It was a merger mandated by the government of India, but the project saw incredible resistance from the senior managers of both Air India and Indian Airlines. Most of the common reasons for this resistance can be attributed to the perceived loss of power because both Air India and Indian Airlines had managers for the citywide distribution networks. One of them would lose their power when both the airlines merged. Managers can prevent senior management from resisting changes at the strategic levels. This can be done through Kotter's model. First, create a vision for that change. Communicate that plan for the change with its employees and senior management to avoid any kind of office gossip. Create a sense of urgency amongst the employees that would explain why the change is needed. Building a coalition with groups of influence in the organization, such as with the union leaders. Eliminate obstacles of the change. There may be key people who resist passively by supporting in the public but undermining the change plan. Managers should remove these obstacles to ensure smooth transitions. Create small wins. Break up the change process into the smaller targets and objectives that can be quantified and achieved. Building on the change. One, Once each of the small targets is achieved, using it to build upon it as a building block. Make change part of the culture. By celebrating the small successes, it can eventually be made into a part of the culture of the organization. Some of the approaches to the resistance to of the management of the resistance, management by objectives. In this approach, supervisors and subordinates can jointly set objectives and then meet again to evaluate the performance of the subordinates based on the objectives set previously. The business process reengineering. In this approach, large scale and radical changes to the existing processes and systems set in place to meet customer demands and the efficiency of the organization. According to Mr. Dasture, this is the hardest one to implement because it is often associated with downsizing, eliminating layers of management, causing resistance being created in senior management as well as their subordinates. And then the human capital approach. This approach is designed to change specific tasks to a lesser degree and more towards a broader outcome of helping the workers learn and grow professionally. It can help prepare for ongoing changes. In conclusion, using a combination of these approaches is a prudent way to go about things. Thank you.